amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect in. We move with the world.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, 042. Thank you for joining us today. You're tuned into Sunrise on Aneke TV, bringing you joy and smile. And that's sunshine every morning. I'm Debra Wakuba, coming to you live from our studio here in vibrant Enugu.
Baby, you're looking beautiful this morning.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, and I'm Uche Osai. Wherever you are, at home, in traffic, why don't you relax and let the morning air seep in? And we thank you for letting us into your space this beautiful Thursday morning.
And so today is Thursday, August 14th. And we're here again with a complete lineup of news, trending stories, and that's Sunrise Vibe to help you start your day.
So, why don't you relax, sip your tea, and enjoy the ride, because the sunrise has begun.
First of all, we'll start off with our quote of the day. In this way, we can get that spark of inspiration we all need for the day to always remain focused and well-driven.
Yeah, and we've got your complete weather report covering cities across the southeastern parts of Nigeria and beyond, which will help you get ready for the day.
Right after that, we'll also go through today's major stories from our news headlines. All the key updates you need will also be served to you hot and clear. So, to our quote of the day, today is coming from the man himself, Nelson Mandela. And right here he says, resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. I repeat, he says, resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. Mr. Uche, I would like to know your perspective on this quote.
resentment. You know, resentment, that's a feeling of anger,
Yes.
bitterness towards someone. Maybe over perceived injustice or hurt, you understand? And then at the end of the day, it will lead to bitterness, hurt feeling, anger, and then eventual resentment of
Yes.
that person. So at the end of the day, you see that it leads to strained relationships, emotional distress, and all that. So in other words, Nelson Mandela is encouraging us today to forgive. Forgive your spouse. Forgive your colleague. Forgive your friend. That way, you feel way better.
Yes, and I would also like to add that when you hold grudges on someone, or when you hold grudges against someone, most times that person doesn't even know you're holding grudges against him or you're resenting him for something. And so let's form this habit today of trying to let go, of sharing with the person, like you did something wrong to me, and I just want to free myself of this burden.
Speak to the person.
Exactly.
Iron it out. By not letting it out, you feel the pain more.
Yes,
you
feel the pain.
And mind you, even this person may not even know that you're embittered or you're angry at her, and this person is living his or her normal life. So at the end of the day, have that conversation and forgive.
Yes.
Forgiveness is key.
That's true. That's true. And always don't forget, each new sunrise is an invitation for us to grow, for us to try, and for us to learn, or simply be more present. Please let us know what this quote means to you. You can also drop your thoughts on Facebook, X, Instagram, or right here on YouTube, all at Aneke TV. We'll go on a short break and we'll be right back with the weather update. Please stay tuned.
You're still watching Aneke TV. Stay tuned as we take a look at today's weather across major cities in the southeast.
Yes, we will begin with Awka, the capital city of Anambra. The morning would start completely cloudy, and this continues into the afternoon. Expect a chance of showers by light afternoon and into the evening. Temperature will reach around 24 degrees Celsius with early morning lows near 21 degrees Celsius.
And you're waking up from the coast city of Enugu. The clouds dominate the sky with periods of showers in the late afternoon and thunderstorms likely into the evening. Highs will hover around 26 degrees Celsius with overnight lows around 22 degrees Celsius.
And over in Abakaliki, the early hours bring a mix of showers and perhaps thunderstorms, easing into a mostly cloudy day. Temperatures will climb to about 26 degrees Celsius before dipping back to about 23 degrees Celsius overnight.
And coming to the driving city of Owerri, expect a heavily overcast today. Showers may develop in the afternoon and into the evening. The high will be around 27 degrees Celsius, with that cooling off at 22 degrees Celsius later in the evening.
And finally, in Umuahia, skies will remain cloudy throughout, with some showers likely in the afternoon and evening hours. Highs will reach around 27 degrees Celsius, and temperatures will fall to about 23 degrees Celsius overnight.
So, wherever you are in the southeast, stay cool, hydrated, dress light, and keep an umbrella close. Rain or shine, we've got you covered. We'll be right back with more updates.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
You're still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. Let's see what's making front page news today in The Nation, Punch, Vanguard, and Guardian newspapers. On today's show, we have our in-house analyst, Mrs. Chiwendu. Mrs. Chiwendu, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for welcoming me on board.
Yes, Chiwendu,
It's
always a pleasure having you.
Yes, it's a pleasure having you. Looking good today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now over to The Nation headlines. By-election contest hot up in Oyo, Ogun, Edo, and Anambra states. Now over to the Punch headlines. PDP unveils zoning panel, dispels Jonathan. Then in the Vanguard headlines, we have the Kwam1 Comfort Bob, lawyers aviation experts blast FG. And then now finally we have on the Guardian headlines, FG to overhaul public finance as bills for more universities risks rejection. Now in Nation headline, Nation reports that the by-election contest is heating up in Oyo, Ogun, Edo, and Anambra states, and political watchers say the stakes are high and candidates are intensifying campaigns with election fever already rising. So do you think early campaigns will give voters more clarity or just more political drama? Like, I want to know your take on this issue.
It has always been political drama all this while. That's what we are actually good at. Usually our interest has always been this time, although a little drift away looking at what happened 2023. It has always been my party, their party. Nobody is actually interested in looking at the candidates those parties are featuring. Are they really the ones that will represent the interest of the people? They are called your rep. What makes them your rep? It's expected that these are the people coming from the people, from amongst the people, that on getting there, be able to fight for their interest. But you find that most of the time, after this electioneering period, you won't see them again. They will vanish into the thin air. But that's not the point. Why are they actually killing themselves? You know, P2B made a statement during that 2023 electioneering period. Said, why will I dash people money if I am a servant coming to serve? Why will I pay my way to come and serve? Like serve, not to come and eat. If it's to come and eat, I say, I've been hungry, at least if I can tip off so I can go and refuel,
Yes.
that will be fine. But how can I pay? Borrow from banks, if possible, for me to find my way there. That should be able to arouse our interest, to begin to know that this is a business. And any business venture is expected to have return on investment. So if these people, as this policy now is heating up, people that are borrowing, people that have godfathers who will sponsor them to go there, on getting there, of course, forget it. The money they borrowed, they have to recoup it back. The godfathers have to siphon their own money back. It's business.
Yes.
And you have to make profit out of your business. So you don't expect me, after borrowing the money to get there, to come and start asking you, the last time I met you, you weren't doing very well. So how far is your health now? I won't do that.
Can you even assess the person?
I won't do that. No, now I have to first of all fix everything that needed to be fixed, financially wise. And before you know it, time is up. And the person will still step down without doing anything, without the people that are representing having the feel that they have a rep up there.
Yes.
And that's the problem we are facing. Mr. Sai, I don't know if there's any other
anyways,
thing
you know,
you'd like to put in
queuing
there.
up from what you said, that is business.
business.
And it's serious business. So
Like business.
at this point, what is really hitting up the situation is because the rallies, according to INEC guideline, comes to a close today.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So the whole rallies, political parties jostling for whatever the attention of the masses, the people, comes to an end today. So a lot of all the pressure that you needed to make all this while, you have just but today to make it as a political party. And of particular interest to me is why it's so heated up in Edo State and Anambra in particular. In the case of Anambra, the by-election is for the filling of the seats vacated by the
Ifanyu,
Letu Ifanyoba of the YPP.
Yeah.
So the political parties, the APC, ABGA, PDP, ADC, so they are just looking for that very seat. Then of particular interest to you is that the governor, after this, is equally on electionary mood, campaigning for himself to retain his position. So this is paramount to him. It's of very keen interest to him who would occupy that very seat. He wouldn't want an opposition senator to go in there.
Yes,
so I think the YPP, I don't know if they even have a candidate in this election, but whichever way it goes, you know that it will be keenly contested. Then moving over to Edo Central, the very seat there is this very one the present governor, Monday Pebelo, vacated. Yes. So this by-election is to fill that seat he vacated while vying to be the governor of Edo State. So you see there's a lot of interest here. The governor will do everything possible to show, to even show his party of his electoral value. He can't stand to lose his own senatorial zone. So you see why the whole is heated up. Yes. Then going forward to Kaduna South, Oyo State, Ondo, and the rest of them, and up to Jigawa, I suppose, where they will have by-election. I think somewhere in Chikun, in Kaduna State as well. So this by-election will be so heated up because there are a lot of interest. This is time for most of these political big wigs to show that they are what they are sought, prove to their political party that it's not just talks, that they are able to command their territory and they have electoral value at the end of the day.
Yes, let's not be just promise as usual. And let them be serious. We know who is serious in this.
At this point in time, is not even in the masses' hands. It's political parties that have to, first of all, through their primaries, nominate their candidates. So at this point in time, the people will be left with whoever the party presents to them. So it's for them now to sieve among these selected few who best serves their interests.
Then let me say something here. Especially in Anambra and Ondo, where the governors may actually have very good interest because of their position. Edo won't want to lose his own senator.
Yes.
Anambra won't want opposition to going by the fact that towards the end of this year, he's also coming in.
Bear in mind that he has an election coming up. Yes.
Then, again, you definitely you're going to see that if not the INEC, Bohaha, and the rest of it, the power rests with the people, because these two, the people will actually let them know how far they have been doing well. Yes, because that very candidate are going to file in, so long as it's coming from their own platform and the governor has not impressed the people, they'll be like, okay, you're giving us your second version.
You raised a very important point there. By-elections are period where the electors tell the leaders you've not really done well.
Exactly.
In fact, in similar climes, do you understand, where the system, everything works, is an opportunity to tell your rep, your leaders, you've not done well, we are not going to reward you with another year, more position. So in this case, I think it's an opportunity for these very states to either tell, but at the end of the day, we hope that the electors will really have the say to tell either their leaders, the governor, the senator, whoever, you've done well, go back. Or we're handing over this senatorial zone to you. Or No, your policies have been very harsh on
Very
us.
harsh on
You've
us.
not done well, and we are not rewarding you this time.
We are going to show you.
So at the end of the day, if we get to that point, it will be very welcome develop. It will be a very welcome development for the masses to be able to wield that power.
I will love that.
Yes.
I mean, I will love
look
that.
your governor in the face, look your senator in the face, and tell him you've not done well. You've not represented them very well.
You should fulfill your
time
past
for
promises.
yes.
You should be
waiting for
What you promised us, you've not been able to feel it.
Nothing.
So we are not rewarding you this time.
This time we're going to show you at the king. Just
So
come over.
this is why it's so heated up, because there are a lot of factors at play here, a lot of emotions at play. Do you understand?
Yes.
There are people who wouldn't want to reward a political party that they feel has failed them at the end of the day. So
they feel that this is a reward.
it's expected that
Yes.
things will be really, really heated up today.
That's the fact. I think now I'm seeing the reason.
Yes,
Yes.
that's why it's been heated up.
Very much.
Yes.
Okay, and thank you for your opinion. And over to the Punch headlines. It says the Punch reports that PDP has unveiled its zoning panel, putting to rest speculations involving former President Goodluck Jonathan. So I'd like to know your view on the PDP zoning decision. As will it unite the party or will it spike new division? Like, would it be something?
Anyway, it's a step in the right direction. You understand, to set up a panel to look into the issue of zoning. You understand, bearing in mind that this has been a divisive factor for the PDP. You understand, so it's commendable that they are setting up the committee and unveiling this committee to go handle the issue of zoning for the party, so that all interests will be carried along, resolved along, the same line. Take a position on this is where we stand. Are we going south or not this time around? This should be based on, I think, for a particular party, what they'll be looking at is what option will be the winning formula. Is the south the key to getting us to Aso Rock, or do we go up north as a key to unlock the gates of Aso Rock? However, the party coming to tell us that the issue of Jonathan and Peter Obi, the secretary to the PDP, the secretary to the PDP coming up to say that nobody is talking to Obi, and we should forget about the issue of Obi and Jonathan, that they have very sellable and credible candidates that can fill this position, mentioning the governor of Bauchi, Oyo State. Do you understand? To mention a few, that they have credible and capable candidates, you understand, who can vie for this position. That, for example, Obi should mention the people who are approaching him and all that. At the end of the day, is in the open that the PDP, let's say, amongst the National Working Committee of the PDP, among the National Executive Committee of the PDP, that they've been lobbying this credible men to come back to the fold, come join the fold. We watched former Minister of Information, Jerry Ghana, advancing and saying yes, that they are holding discussion with Peter Obi. They want him to come back to the fold. You understand? So he cannot tell us that nobody is talking to them. So in as much as you have credible, we know you have credible members, sellable members that can, but we know that you still is in the open. In fact, from my understanding, there are two
divide.
Yes, in the PDP. Some of them are of the view that they should go bring these men back.
Yes.
Those of them that feel that, okay, let's get Goodluck Jonathan back in order to pacify certain interests from the north, who wants an assurance or a candidate who will get into there from the south that will do only 4 years. Do you understand?
Sure that 2030
yes,
2031 is safe.
Yes, Bola Tinubu from the south has done 4 years. So they need assurance that by 2031, there is the turn of the north for the 2031, sorry, that is their turn, that they too will have, that is their time to have this law, they feel, you understand? So, and the only candidates they feel they can bank on at this time is to bring in former President Goodluck Jonathan, who at this point in time has done one term,
Yes.
and by law can only spend another one term in the office. And then talking about the P2B, who has promised or who has
Promised to serve one term, just one term.
You understand?
Yes.
But I have to point something out here. You know, amongst them, there are still people who are raising this issue that even former President Goodluck Jonathan is constitutionally bound not to contest. Yes, he has been sworn in twice. There is a constitutional amendment somewhere that once you've been sworn into an office twice, that you can't come in.
Oh, wow.
So at the end of the day, we will see this will be an opportunity for further judicial explanations to what this portends for the polity and our constitution. So at the end of the day, for me, PDP should really put their house in order. We're looking forward to their NEC meeting in around November. You understand? Where they will unite, elect their officers and all that. Then we'll now start talking about primaries, who will be the variable candidates. Then the zoning committee must have come out with their recommendation on where to go.
But then, what made them to think about zoning? Because I know before now they have zoning.
Yes.
They continued at a point. They were the ones that, let's say, made everything to stop, that halted the move. So why coming up now with it?
And trying to make
what happened?
Looking at it,
Why did they think it's now that important that they go back to that zoning formula?
You know, it's been a very divisive factor in the PDP. You know, with the death of our very dear President Yar'Adua, President Goodluck Jonathan, then Vice President, has to step in, being sworn. You know how the whole thing played out. That altered that zoning arrangement. Again, we don't know how true this is. People were of the view, including the former President Olusegun Obasanjo, that President Jonathan was in an agreement with them not to seek re-election into that very position in order to honor that zoning formula. You understand? So again, President Jonathan reneged from that promise, according to them. This is laying foundation to the issue, the crisis of the issue of zoning. Be that as it may, they lost the election. And
meaning that
they lost that election.
The zoning could have continued.
They lost that election, bringing in the opposition APC. President Muhammadu Buhari stepped in.
From the north.
Some of them are arguing that this zoning is something of the PDP. Do you understand? So according to them, or as far as they are concerned, in the PDP, the South, do you understand, took the last lot, or that they've not completed their tenure. Do you understand? President Yar'Adua didn't serve as his tenure. Therefore, that the North should take up the mantle.
Oh, could that be the reason why Atiku has been coming out
to be the
to
next
know whether he can actually grab the
position?
If I'm to posit, I would say that Atiku, I suppose, with what you said now, is of the group of thinkers that it should be thrown open to the most credible, viable person that everybody should contest.
Whoever the citizen chooses.
We need to point out that being a founding member of the PDP, we're supposed that he was part of the agreement on zoning. But again, you know, we need to balance this thing. We don't need to label him at any size and all that, because I would think that every view is right. In the PDP, again, they said that formula was adopted in order to pacify the South from the June 12th. That it was used to pacify the South, solve the issue of the military and the issue of June 12th question. Afterwards, the most credible candidates should be allowed to contest, irrespective of zone.
Where the person is coming from.
Yes.
Then, don't you think that will now throw us to the survival of the fittest?
No.
Yes,
at the end of the day,
means that
you know,
some divide will get it more, while some divide will not even smell it.
Anyway, our politics, our involving as a nation, I would say, has not gotten to a point. We are still trying to manage the diverse interests. You know, the issue of we've not outgrown ethnicity. Do you understand? Where we say, okay, at this point in time, we don't care about ethnicity, we don't care about religion.
As long as you are
This,
credible,
yes, but
come on.
these are still factors that are playing out in our polity. You understand? We care about where he or she comes from, what religion. But had it been that as a nation we were able to outgrow these primordial sentiments,
Just
you
go
understand?
for a candidate
Then
that
it
has
would have
our
been
interests
thrown
at
open.
heart.
It would have been very open for the political parties in their primaries to look for the best candidates, the most sellable candidate with the best manifesto, and then we wouldn't care where he comes from, either from Sokoto or from Akwa Ibom or from Ogun or even from Enugu, wherever he is from. So far as you have the best policy, the best track record,
Manifesto, we
and
know
all that, then
that is achievable.
yes, and I think that's what the Labour Party tried to do in 2023.
Yeah, they did it.
You understand? Taking the risk. I would say taking the risk with Mr. Peter Obi, whom at that point in time, some few months to the election, without structure, very unknown, beyond his region. You understand? Then they took that chance that they have a very marketable product. He's very sellable. His agenda and everything are very, very promising. They took that chance, and fortunately, the nation grabbed it. But at the end of the day, elections are what they are.
Elections are what they are. That's true. The elections are what they are. I like that one. And so over to the Vanguard newspaper. It says, or concerning the trending stories about the Kwam incident and Comfort Bob. It says that experts, aviation lawyers, experts blast the federal government over issues involving Kwam and Comfort Bob. Now, my question on this is, should celebrities and private individuals be subject to the same, how would I say, to the same aviation rules? You know, judging on the fact that after she was, although now, as of yesterday, it was heard that the federal government lifted the ban, the ban on the jail term, you get, and then it was said, and they reduced this sentence of Kwam from 6 months. We don't know how many months, how many,
I think
how long it's going to be banned.
They lifted the ban on Kwam. The ban was that of no flying for 6 months.
Yes, no flying for 6
so
months.
So they lifted the ban on Kwam, then dropped all criminal made Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority to drop all criminal charges against Ms. Comfort Emerson, yes, and then let the matter rest. You know, looking at this, what are they thinking? You know, there's been a lot of outcry concerning this issue. Nigerians voiced out without reservation their position on this issue, and it's been a running story this period, how the issues were handled. Kwam treated as a celebrity is, yes, as an elite, and then this young unknown lady then being remanded in Krikri and all that. So people were of the view, Nigerians were of the view, that is the same country, the same rule should be applicable to everybody, irrespective of class. You understand? Yes. Now, quite interestingly, yesterday the news broke out that the federal government has lifted the ban on the life ban on Miss Emerson, and then asked Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority to drop all charges and let her go. Perhaps I don't know, with apology or something, and then the ban on Kwam lifted. And in fact, there's this what I'm seeing, that he is being made to be the ambassador of safety. You understand? Yes, which people have criticized, and then the aviation minister has tried to clarify that he was in form of voluntary community service. Do you understand? As a way of restitution for his action, that people shouldn't see it that he's being paid as an
to do
ambassador.
that.
Good. Now we're looking at the headline this morning. Do you understand the condemnation and the this thing
Federal government.
from against the federal government this morning? Yes. Looking at this headline, lawyers, aviation experts blasting the federal government. Yes, I agree with them. In as much as they are trying to find amicable resolution of the whole situation, but I think the lawyers, the aviation experts are right
How?
in blasting the federal government.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it shows what we've been crying out about. The lack of respect for process. There's no due process. Are you getting me?
And that,
Why not let there's an interference here. The minister intervenes, stopping Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority from letting the law take its rightful course. Do you understand? So there's an interference. It's now obvious that the federal government interferes. There should be a process. And I'm of the view, no matter what, you should have allowed the process run out. Though we believe that, yes, the federal government, they shouldn't charge this lady, or even if they are charging her, the same should be meted out on one.
Yes, the same
You understand?
without special
But now,
treatment.
now you've charged her, she's been remanded in Kirikiri prison, and then at the picking up of a phone call, all charges were dropped. That's the interference we are talking about. You get the point?
Yes.
That's the interference that shouldn't. The law should be the law. Do you understand? Then, at a point where we've gotten to that, there could be a way, but not at the federal government just interfering that way, and all charges are just dropped that way, and the investigation on Kwawam just let's go, and then you're brought in. You do know what it means? Because I was listening to the human rights lawyer, Femi Falana. He's of the view that by this position, the federal government has lost the moral right to prosecute any offender in future.
Yes.
And I buy into that.
Because I think
Yes,
they'll be
because at this point in time,
they'll be
do you understand?
expecting
You cannot, in all moral justification, be able to prosecute any other offender. And by this, I think you've encouraged other Kwawans in future. Yes. Yes.
what baffled me yesterday was this. It was like a question. So Nigeria, my country, can actually like carry out, say, a process like within 24 hours, start to finish like that. But some will last ages.
This
And you
that's
wonder
the abuse of the process. That's the abuse of the process we are talking about.
Do you know,
That's the abuse of the process we are talking about.
why the phone call and the dropping of every charges against both 1 and 2. People will have the view, if this miscomfort will be remanded, then Kwam should join.
also be
Yes.
remanded, yes. Because rules are rules, and nobody
And
should
we
be
are all
above it.
citizens.
Yes.
In fact, what makes you a bona fide getting to experience or enjoy the benefits of this democracy in this geopolitical arena is, 1, you are a citizen. And because she is a citizen just like he, and this same offense landed her here, why is he going scot-free? So because the calls were coming from all quarters, giving in to those calls will actually land that guy to that same end where the girl was.
Yeah.
So let all sleeping dog lie.
Yes.
They now
Let's
have to
close-
lift up
let's
everything.
close-
So,
let's close the case.
but anyways, at this point, we still have to commend the aviation minister for quick intervention in not letting the lady spend further days in Kirikiri. You know, so we commend him for the quick intervention. Though we are saying that processes should be respected.
I am
You
telling
understand?
you.
However, there is something that keep ringing in my head. Where is Nigerian consumption agency in this? You understand? Where is consumer protection agency in all this? She is a passenger
Okay.
on that plane.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay. Yeah.
I've not heard their angle
They've
in
been
this
so
whole scenario.
silent.
Do you understand? The right of the consumer in all this,
in
because
this case,
it falls within
passenger.
their purview to protect the rights of the consumer.
Consumer, who is the passenger.
Yes,
Do you
that's
understand?
true.
So what has been their take in all this?
Oh, we've not heard, they've been silent.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe they
That's what I'm
don't know they actually needed to come on board. They thought maybe the issue is resting solely with the aviation.
They are leaving it for the government. They are leaving it for us.
Just
This is
We commend the aviation minister.
No, they've done
We commend him for taking quick action. I bet
He has done
our disposition towards due processes not being followed to
it
the
shouldn't
letter.
be interfere.
Yes, however, we commend them for the quick resolution,
Yes.
and the airlines, we would recommend that they train and retrain their staff.
Yes,
Keep training.
that's
Keep
true.
training them. If there was restraint at the end of the passenger and the airline staffs and security, the management of this whole scenario wouldn't have escalated to this point.
Yeah.
So the airlines should train and retrain their staffs, and then at the end of the day, the citizens, everybody should realize that yes, we have a right, but your right ends where
Where the
another
other one
person's
starts.
right starts. So we should be respectful to each other, and that comes to issue of emotional intelligence, anger management. With all that said, we hope that this will be a further lesson to other persons in future. Thank you.
Okay, now to our final newspaper for the day, The Guardian. The Guardian headlines, we're going to read it. The FG to overhaul public finance as bills for varsities risks rejection. Now it says the federal government are saying they're putting a hold to any public finance, like creating universities, more universities, because we already know we have a lot of universities here in Nigeria. Like we have the Federal University, the State University, polytechnics, and etc., etc. All the universities, yes, and there is no need for building more universities. So now the question is, if there should be more universities, or if they need to fix the basic things.
That shouldn't even be
The question.
The question should be
Okay.
how far with the existing ones.
Yes.
There shouldn't be any room for us to start discussing we should put up new universities.
Okay.
We already have many of it. They've cut across the federal universities, state universities, monotechnics, polytechnics, colleges of education, both at the federal and state level. Then come back down to the private sector. You have private universities, those owned by the missionaries, like a lot of them.
Yes.
How far? How well are they faring? You know, when you come to most universities, you find out that a lot needs to be done. What is the percentage of the annual budget to the education sector? What are they doing? If released, are they actually monitoring it to make sure that the amount, no matter how small it may be, that is voted into the different educational levels,
Yes,
whether
educational
federal universities or
States.
federal secondary schools I'm talking about,
Okay.
at all levels educational, how well are they managing it? If these funds are well managed, put in the right use, then I think our education will begin to have a feel of the fact that actually I am being taken good care of. And you see the yield coming at the end, because it is said that no country can actually rise above their educational level. If you don't put good use of what you have, it will not give, it is a give and take thing. Take good care of not just the facilities, the manpower that makes use of those facilities. Here we'll talk about the management, the lecturers. What about their remuneration? Take it or you leave it.
Yes.
It's a source of motivation. If you pay them well, the person will have the moral guts
Yes.
to be in the class 7:30 for 8 o'clock lecture,
Yes.
waiting for students to come in.
come.
You
That's
want
true.
to give him the best. What about those that are into research? Are you people making funds available? The ones that researched and came up with, and are out with some results. How are you people absorbing those recommendations into the system so that it will help the system to keep thriving? Then what about their training and retraining? Some want to further their studies in order to help them come out better. How far? Some want to do, but because of lack of fund, they will see themselves just revolving as if it's a rat race, rolling around the circle where they are. But if all these things are well taken good care of, I am telling you, the lecturers, they will give in their best. So
Yes,
we don't
they'll give
need
in their
new ones.
own.
That is my stand.
Okay.
We don't need new
We don't need
universities.
new ones.
What we need
Is
is
to
the existing ones should be fixed.
Yes.
They should be taken good care of. Both the management aspect of it, the manpower, the resource, the facilities on
The
ground.
students,
They
too.
should be taken care of. Even students, take good care of them. Those hostels you are building. I know, like UNN, they used to have ref and the rest of them. All those facilities are no longer there. Are you getting it? So if they can bring back those good old days, it will be a thing of joy. Any child going back to
Yes.
school will be like, I can't wait to go back to school. Please, school should resume.
wait
Let me
to
go
go
back.
back.
Yes.
Yeah.
But these days, it seems as if.
Thank you very
So,
much.
you know, we really, on this one, we really commend the federal government for taking these decisions at the NEC meeting.
Yeah.
Sorry, at the FEC meeting yesterday, the Federal Executive Council meeting yesterday, where they placed a 7-year ban on
Raising
licensing new universities and all
universities.
that. You understand? In as much as we know that, yes, Nigeria need more universities. The ones we have is not enough to serve the population.
Really?
Yes, because we have a lot of out-of-school children. Do you understand? We have a lot of out-of-school children who know our population is on the increase. Is never enough. But we commend them for taking this decision at this time. And like you pointed out, funds should be spent on the ones that we already have. Equip them. Make sure that they are well equipped, well furnished, good for learning. So we really commend the federal government for taking these decisions, the decisions they took yesterday, even the issue of revenue, dealing with the revenue, you know, the revenue deduction and receiving agencies like the FIRS and custom trying to cut their deductions in order to save more money and all that. So we really commend the federal government for taking that decision yesterday, for placing that ban on licensing of more universities, and then commit more funds to see that the universities, the existing universities, tertiary institutions are well funded.
Yes.
Because it's been the outcry for long. We've seen strikes. You go to the universities, you don't see functioning laboratories. You go to their hostels, it's decayed and all that. So if within this 7 years period, the ones who have are well funded, then we can look into opening up more
Establishing
ones.
ones.
Yes. So we really commend the federal government on this.
My point again is not in dishing out the fund, releasing the fund. As the
Make
additional
use
the
of
fund,
it.
they should put in place monitoring methodology through which they will be able to monitor the usage,
I think they will do that.
the usage,
I think they will do that.
so that they will
Yes.
make sure if they are voting in 1 naira into this, they will make sure that it's actually 1 naira that is utilized. And when they come on ground, they see it's actually 1 naira
that's
project
good.
that is on
Nice.
ground. With that, we'll be able to, at least within these 7 years, make something good out of our educational
Yes.
sector
Yes.
regarding the tertiary institutions.
Yes.
That's a
Okay.
very good one.
Thank you very much for that. And don't forget that you could also grab physical copies at your favorite vendor or catch the e-papers online. After the break, it's time to unwind a little, and we'll be sharing a celebration today. Please stay tuned.
Ayo.
You're still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV, and today we have a celebration. And today's celebration is the Happy Financial Awareness Day. So I would like to say Happy Financial Awareness Day to you all. And let's be real about this right now. Money can feel like a mystery and a stress bomb, or just that thing that disappears way too fast. You might be having, let's say, 10,000 naira, for example, and in the next minute it's gone, just like that. It's gone. And then it doesn't, well, today we would know that it doesn't have to feel that way, because there are ways of how you handle your money. There's ways where you be smart with your money, and it is one of the most powerful life skills you can have. And guess what? You don't need to be a math genius or a millionaire to get it right. And then the simple things you can do is like setting your budget. Let's say your budget for the month or for the year, and then you save a bit each month. You don't have to use the whole money to, and you don't have to finish the money. Exactly. Just save. At least,
no matter what it is, even if it's 1 naira in your hand,
yes,
save a kobo out of it.
Yes.
You have 10 naira, save 2 naira out of it. So save.
Yeah.
Get the colo. You know, when we were growing up, we used to call it colo.
Yes, the saving box.
The saving box.
The saving box. If you don't want to put it in the bank, you can also get your saving box. Yes, that's
true. We used to put it in colo. So
there's something that said when you save your money, it saves you at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
Yes.
I think it's the surest way to save yourself from poverty.
Yes, it's true. It's true. And it can make a huge difference and make you have financial confidence. And let's know, it doesn't come from luck. It doesn't come from, let's say, giving or something like that. It can, or let's say, or a big paycheck, you can be paid the most amount. Like, let me say, if your salary is 500,000 a month, you find out those people that earn 500,000 also go through a lot than people that earn 50,000 a month. So let's form this habit of saving, of having a budget for the month or for the year. And then there are things like setting your goals on what you want for that month. Like, if you know this is what you want to get this month, let it be just that thing you get for that month. Don't add something else. That's a way of putting or making your budget. Yes. So let's be able to manage our money. It's one of the most important life skill you can have. And knowing how to avoid debt, use your credit wisely, and preparing for emergency gives you freedom and peace of mind. So Financial Awareness Day is not about being perfect, it's about being prepared. So but let us know what you're celebrating today, and tag us at Aneke TV across Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube, or call our phone 07030437110. And that's a wrap for today. You're not here to be average, and always remember, you're here to make a difference. Thank you for waking up with us, and it's always a pleasure to have you on our show. I am Deborah Wakoba.
And I'm Uche Osai. Until we come your way same time tomorrow, remember to do away with resentment. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
Okay, dear viewer, thanks for joining us yet again on this edition of the program, The Arena, where we meet to take on burning topical issues and matters as it affects us as a people. On Aneke television, it runs. My name is Chris Aneke. We're thanking you for having joined us. I hope you know that the task of nation building is a very big Herculean task, especially for the people of this country. But do you know, as a citizen, your role? You've got a role to play for the nation to move forward. In the task of building the nation, the citizens also are involved. It's not always the government side. Yes, of course, we know the government side, leadership and these challenges. But what about the followership? These are more on the show today. And we have joining us a seasoned and experienced communicator. As a matter of fact, I just want to take a little time in reeling out one or two areas of his profile. He's a seasoned communication leader, scholar, I beg your pardon, senior lecturer in the Department of Mass Communication, Enugu State University of Science and Technology, ESUT. He has over 3 decades of experience in teaching, research, and public engagement. He also has served as executive assistant on research and publicity to the governor of Enugu State. He also has served as a former senior legislative aide at the National Assembly between 2007 and 2015. He's very passionate about civic responsibility, nation building, and shaping the next generation of critical thinkers. Dear viewer, we refer to Dr. Maxwell Menkiti Ngene. You're welcome to Aneke television today.
Thank you very much, Chris.
A lengthy profile.
Thank you.
Even though we had to abridge it, you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome,
for
sir.
inviting me.
You're welcome, sir.
Viewer, you're welcome to our program.
Yes, sir. So, just sit back as we chat around the task of nation building for us as a people. Yes, part of your profile reads that you're very passionate
about civic engagement.
Civic engagement, and especially nation building.
That's correct.
And so now the interest is on nation building. So when we say nation building, Dr. Ngene, what are we looking at here, sir?
Thank you very much. I'm happy that currently I'm teaching communication and national development for the final year students in ESUT.
Oh.
So today we are talking about nation building. More often than not, a lot of people believe that nation building is like a spectator sport. You know, a lot of people appear not to understand what we mean by nation building. When we talk about nation building, we are talking about being patriotic. We are talking about selfless service. We are talking about seeing Nigeria as our own, talking positively about our country. We are talking about value reorientation of our people. We are talking about a country where we have to make contribution to, not just a country where we want to know what the country has done for us. Nation building is not just a situation or a process where somebody is saying those in government. Nation building is the task of everybody. Nation building is a commitment by Nigerian people that has to do with ensuring better life for everybody, helping citizens to become self-reliant, where we talk well about each other, where we respect values, where we understand the essence of freedom of expression, where we understand the essence of rule of law as that principle which is bigger than any other thing, where we learn to respect the human dignity, where we also learn to pay our taxes. Nation building is a whole lot of things. Nation building has to do with ensuring that the right things are done, that we see Nigeria from the way civilized people behave, not just looking at Nigeria from the religious ethno-prison, where we see Nigeria from a jaundiced lens, where we begin to say, Oshiwe, Oyebe, where is he from? What religious body does he belong to? Before we begin to deal with the person. So when we talk about nation building, it's a very serious issue. And it is because we've not attained nation building, because nation building has to do with national development. That's why we have retrogressed. That's why we are in serious problem, because a nation that has been built, a country that has achieved national development, nation building, must also have achieved rural development, must also have achieved a level of self-sustainability for its citizenry in terms of youth employment, in terms of zero tolerance for corruption, so many things. But when the program progresses,
Well, good enough. You've been able to establish a very beautiful background introduction into the matter on the table today.
thank you.
The next we want to know from you, sir, is talking about nation building. There must have to be a nation for it to be built.
Yes.
Is Nigeria a nation? If yes, if no, what makes a nation?
It's been there's been a long debate regarding
Around it.
You know, even Awolowo didn't believe it's a nation. It's a geographical expression. You know, a lot of scholars argue here and forth, what should it be? For us who are Igbos of Nigeria, who are from the Southeast Geopolitical Zone, we feel that way. Majority of our youths, that's why they keep talking about separatist agitation. They want to leave. This country is a scam. We do not belong here. If we belong here, why is it that we're excluded? You know, that kind of thing. So they say Nigeria is not, this is a zoo country, you know, because of some of those problems. So to a reasonable degree, Nigeria is a nation, but there's a need, because people like Nnamdi Azikiwe, people like Awolowo, Aminu Kano, some of these Saradona Sokoto, some of these founding fathers of ours will be crying wherever they are, because it is not the country they envisioned that we are in. It's not the nation they fought for during the era of the colonialists, remember. So a lot of efforts has been made at attaining nation building through constitutional reform efforts, through fighting in the Nigerian Civil War, through experiments at democracy, until we got to this point.
Maybe for those caliber of men, you know, the founding fathers, maybe for them, the Zigs, the Sadaunas, the Awos, maybe just for them. Yes, Nigeria is a nation.
Yes.
But beyond their days, maybe Nigeria actually isn't a nation. Isn't that where the problem started? We started on a faulty foundation.
Yeah, we did. You know, a lot of people also believe that our problem started with the British people. There are people who argue along those lines. They say that Nigeria, the way it was conceived, because people need to agree on certain principles. The meshing of the northern and southern protectorates into one was part of the problem. And you can see that because of the difficulties the British people had in getting into the Igbo land, the southeast, during that era, it brought some measure of antagonism, mutual distrust between the Igbos and the white men. And they saw us as people who are rigid, who are not easily conquered. So when they were creating the way Nigeria should be, the Northerners they had it easy with them. So they believed they could work with them. But the Igbos are a group of people who ask questions, even if you're giving them food, even if you're the one paying for their school fees. There are things you will do, they will begin to query it, question it. Isn't
that being prideful?
It's not about...
Isn't that arrogance?
There's some measure of arrogance about us. But in the context of Nigeria, Igbos are hardworking people. They believe that on a fair playing ground, that they can hold their head, in the struggle.
Has that attitude helped us so far?
It's not for me to say in this program, because we are talking about nation building.
That's right.
If you invite me in another program,
then we can talk about it.
We can, because I even saw a disturbing video trending from Ghana, where some Ghanaian youths were asking Igbos to leave because Igbos were in the environment where they saw themselves, where they have been developing in Ghana. There's an Igbo, they say, is their leader. This man is our own king. And those people are beginning to question it. And they have forgotten so quickly what it took. Because I remember in the 80s, 80, 81, 82, Ghanaians were part of the people that built the ATV when the Israelis were constructing the ATV in Independence Layout. So they were here. We used to play draft together. They used to speak their language. They were hungry. They left their country in search of greener pasture. Things appear to have changed, which is
remember you told them once Ghana must go.
Yes.
So now they are telling you,
so
you must go.
It's disheartening. I say it's a disturbing video trending.
Yeah.
But you see, we need to ask ourselves, what is the current reality in our country that wants to achieve nation building? And it is also disturbing.
Okay.
Those in government are stealing. Those in government do not allow an environment where marriage should thrive. Those who do not have Abraham as father are not given opportunity to thrive. Children from poor homes struggle to go to school. At the end of it, nobody employs them, even when they are very well qualified. Those who have their own brothers and sisters in high places are preferred, and in most cases, those people are inferior in terms of intellectual property, in terms of preparedness. And the country that behaves that way, we hardly achieve nationhood. So when we are talking about national development, we need to begin to ask questions about current reality. Current reality in the sense that we are asking, why is it that those who have been ruling since 1999 are not thinking about building industries? In Enugu State, for instance, you would have noticed that some industries that used to employ people, like the Hotel Presidential, was
abandoned,
brought into a state of comatose. It was dead. And governments, one after the other, came, saw it, did nothing about it. Where they took some of the televisions, the mattresses, the cooking utensils, things that were there, air conditioners, we don't know. Nobody talks about it. Were they stolen? Were they shared to cronies and family members? Nobody talks about it. The problem is that also those who should talk do not talk, for fear of reprisal, for fear of being hounded, for fear of intimidation, for fear to be killed. These things, people must talk. The problem with us is that most times people say, no, Basaroha, it's none of their business. But in the final analysis, you will find out that no Basagi, because if you do not participate during elections, you do not vote, you end up having people who are unpopular, who didn't prepare to govern, who were dressed like Cinderella, and brought to rule so that they can protect the tract of those before them in terms of covering up corrupt, areas of sleaze and so on and so forth. So that's the problem.
Okay.
If you want to develop, you need to be honest. We need our leaders to lead by example.
That's for the leadership.
The leadership.
Okay. When we return from this short break, we're going to launch on the followership, the role of the citizens, the role of the people, the role of the led.
Okay.
Because most of the time, the narrative always seems to, center around the leadership.
Without knowing that,
the problem with us is
not the air we breathe.
is leadership.
It's not the water we drink.
You understand?
It's squarely on leadership. Yes.
Maybe we now need to, change the narrative and begin to
It's
tell
not even
ourselves
about to a reasonable degree.
what we're expected.
Well, when we come
what
back,
expected of
because
us,
to a
yes.
reasonable degree,
You understand?
the leadership is the driver.
Maybe.
Because if you look at what is happening in Enugu State, for instance, under Peter Mba, you will come to terms with the fact that it depends on who is the leader.
Let's come back from the break. There you are, don't go anywhere. The best is yet to come. Yes, Dr. Marcel again is still very much with us on the show. So we'll be right back. Stay with us on Aneke TV.
Ihe a bụ Aneke TV.
All right, there you are. Thanks for returning with us on the show. We are looking at Nigeria and the task of nation building, the role of the citizenry, and we'll still have the honor of the presence of Dr. Maxwell Menkiti Ngene, a senior lecturer at the Department of Mass Communication at ESUT here in Enugu. Dr. Ngene, before we went on the break,
we were talking about followership.
Looking at
do they have any role to play?
Do they have any role to play? Because we need to sensitize our people. You use the word reorientate.
Yes.
We need to re-enlighten.
Yes.
Because every accusing finger points always, every analysis points at leadership.
Yes.
We know leadership has not done fairly well enough for the people. But for the people themselves, do they really have any role to play in building up the nation?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is a good question. So we have to start with who is a citizen. Who is a citizen? Is it the one who is carrying a green passport? Is that the person we refer as to citizen? Is it who? So if we are talking about nation building, we need to look at not just physical infrastructure. If we want to talk about the role of followers in nation building, they have a lot of role to play.
They have a lot.
A lot. One, you need to understand that you must participate in civic engagement.
Which involves?
Which involves, one, you must vote when the time comes. You must be able to pay your taxes. You must be able to question policies of government. People in Enugu, they say that the government of Peter Mba is overtaxing them. They have a right to ask questions. It calls for the leadership of the Ogbete market, the leadership of Kenyatta market, to seek audience with the governor, for instance, to point out their reservation and seek for his understanding. It needs dialogue. It needs negotiation. It needs compromise. That's what happens in a democracy. Some of the people who were questioning the governor, for instance, when he started destroying things he didn't want to see in Holy Ghost, in Gariki, some of them are beginning to change their perception of him. Because when you go to Holy Ghost now, you will notice that the place is no longer as bad as it used to be in terms of the number of mad people, in terms of hoodlums, in terms of even the environmental aesthetics. People are now seeing modernization. People can now see his vision, where he's driving. That is why people talk about leadership. Because when leadership is right, even in families, you can't be a father and tell your son or daughter, by 8 o'clock. As a father, you have to be in the house to know if those children kept to that rule. So the leader is important, but followership is also very important. As a follower, you must be able to obey the laws of the land, because there are consequences for those who flout the law. You must also be accountable, and those in leadership position must be open, they must be transparent, they must be free of corruption, they must be accountable to the people if we need to achieve nation building. The citizens again must understand the essence of volunteerism. When you are called upon to do certain things, you've invited me to your program in Aneke television. I'm not asking you about the money I used in buying my fuel, because as a public intellectual, I need to serve the community by enlightening them, by teaching them certain things. This is a price I must pay. So there are things you must do. You must not just be waiting for what Enugu will do for you. What will you do for Enugu to make Enugu a better place?
Or in a more
in
holistic,
a bigger context,
will you
what
do
will you do
Nigeria?
for Nigeria to make Nigeria a better place than you made it, rather than what Nigeria will do for you? Those in the federal level in Nigeria, those are the federal government, under Tinubu's government. You must think of how to treat people fairly. You must allow a free playing ground for people from all ethnic nationalities in Nigeria, over 250 of them, to compete in a healthy manner. There should be no exclusion. Rather, there should be integration of people from all geopolitical zones. A situation where people from the Middle Belt, the Bedouin place, the Kogi place, are being killed almost on a daily basis by alleged Fulani herdsmen, by alleged Marudas, intruders, is not good enough. Situation where government will be aware that things are going wrong without acting is wrong, because no life is bigger than the other. Life is a primary value. If you are in a particular geopolitical zone and saying, yes, it is our turn, we are Southwesterners, it is Yorubas, it's our turn, Emiloko, and those who should act and ask questions do not act, because it's happening in the Southeast today, it is happening in Benue, in the Middle Belt. One day it will come to you. It's just like the proverbial okwa. Ndị Igbo na-asị na ọkụkọ na-achị ọchị ebe a na-akpọcha ọkwa, without knowing and care easy.
No, we are not praying for
problems. We are not praying for problems. No, it's not about this. But if you do not solve a problem, the problem will waiting for you until you solve it. In today's Nigeria, begin to see what is happening. We are talking about nation building. We are talking about free education at secondary and primary level. Do you know what it takes people to come to school? In Esut, for instance, from Enugu, transport alone is about 3,000 without the student eating any food. Who do you think can benefit from a beautiful academic environment like Esut without food in his stomach? How many parents can afford that kind of transport fare for students? What is the tuition? A lot should be done. There's a need for us as followers, as those that are led, to engage those in leadership position in a constructive manner.
How? Because the confusion most of the time, Dr. Mason, you are a communicator.
Yes, yes. People like you in the media have a role to play.
Over time, citizens have been encouraged to speak up.
Yes.
The media has provided the platform.
Yes.
For instance, the program we are running on Aneke TV is a veritable instrument, for people to engage. But then at the end of the day, you come to discover that in the circle of communication, the input, the output, the feedback, the response ends on the table of the leader. But most of the time, Dr. Maxwell Lincoln, it begins to look like even the people you're talking to
are not listening.
They are not listening, they are not watching.
You know the problem. Let me tell you.
What do the people do beyond that? Some other times we've seen in this country where maybe especially young people came together to carry out protests, to draw the attention of the government towards their demands.
Yes.
And it ends up in a violent form.
It needn't be in a violent form.
You also said that citizens need to
engage government people
go,
in
go,
elections.
no, get themselves involved in periodic elections to change leadership.
Yes.
Do
Participate
people
in even in voting
do
to determine who
people,
becomes.
do the people still trust in the electoral process in the country?
That's a major
To give them
problem.
so
That's a
what
problem.
do the people do?
Yeah, there are a lot
in the
of things.
face of all of this.
The things should start from the home. Parents must ensure that they engage their children, talk to them, teach them. We must start from our own places, doing the things we can do in terms of even keeping our environments clean. When you talk about followership, government will not do everything for you. It is not government that will come and cut the grasses near you so that snake won't bite you. There are things we need to do as followers. We must do those little things. We must learn to even mentor younger people. I came into Aneke's TV and I'm very happy. Why am I happy? Because I've been a broadcast journalist all my life. I am seeing the little effort that has been done. This is magical. It's unthinkable. Even at our levels, we are learning from what we have seen. I have not so seen that I can come here to teach even some staff on use of camera, how to operate cameras, how to compose shots, how to change angles. I can teach them audio, microphone usage, pick-up pattern, sound balancing, sound control, how to direct shows, and so on. People must be able to mentor. And we need to reform our institutions. The media people must begin to talk and talk. Let's not say that they don't hear it. We need to begin to question the process of leadership emergence. Some of the people that are councillors, some of the people that are in the House of Assembly, how do they emerge? How do they emerge? Are they the best brains? Have we really done a check on them to know whether they are qualified in the first instance? Can anybody make omelette without breaking eggs? Can you give what you do not have? There are problems. Do you know that at the time before, when Buhari was president, during the APC convention, it was as if there was a check on the current president Tinubu, and it was as if he wouldn't emerge. He now began to shout, "Ebiloko, it's my turn. I knew what I've done to make Buhari, who has failed for elections, to emerge." Didn't it happen? Are those things not in public domain? So you can see that if you do not fight for something, you won't get a result. It is the collective effort of everybody to ensure that Nigeria works.
The management of Aneke Television has paid a courtesy visit to the Commandant, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC), Enugu State Command, Dr. Elijah Etimweli. The visit, which took place at the Commandant's office in Enugu, was aimed at fostering synergy and strengthening collaboration between the station and the command. Obinobu, head of administration of the station, while speaking during the meeting, commended the NSCDC dedication to safeguarding national assets and maintaining peace and security in the area. He said the visit aimed to reaffirm and strengthen the existing collaboration between the TV and the NSCDC, and also acknowledged the NSCDC's efforts at securing the state. Obu further stressed the importance of cordial relationship between the NSCDC and the station, saying such collaboration was necessary for the promotion of peace, transparency, and credible information dissemination.
As a nascent television station, we have come to an understanding that there's no way we could flow and operate and gain ground in the society without collaborating with the security agencies like yours. That's why we have deemed you to come around as a way to familiarize ourselves with you, especially data that has to do with your core mandate, areas of protection of national assets, and other areas of concern which the Constitution ascribes to you. So from time to time, as an agency, we would like to be having this first-class information so as to help us to get the public informed from time to time, so that they will not be ignorant of the happenings, especially your work and the operation of the agency in the state.
Responding, the Commandant, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Enugu State Command, Dr. Elijah Etimweli, appreciated the visit and expressed readiness to work with the station to achieve shared goals. He assured the station of his office's openness and commitment to a robust working relationship, saying the media remains a critical partner in maintaining public order and public enlightenment.
Thank you, your team, your crew, for that, that show of love. Concern. If you don't love an agency, you will not cover it. And so I see your love for us, and I pray the collaborativeness continue. And I want to also tell you that if you have challenge, anybody is challenging you, you need my security coverage, come and report, and the person will run away.
The NSCDC Commandant also reaffirmed the Corps' commitment to safeguarding educational institutions such as primary, post-primary to tertiary institutions. The visit was capped with the group photographs. For Aneke TV, it's been Chinwendo Ifeonwankwo reporting.
I've been traveling on book tour, different parts of the world, and now I am here, back home in Nigeria, and I consider this my homecoming. I was in Lagos a few days ago. I was in Abuja just 2 days ago, and now I am here in Enugu. I'm here in this beautiful city on the hill. I am here in the city of my birth. So I drew my first breath about 2 kilometers away from where we are today, at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital on September 15, 1977. So although I was born in Enugu, I grew up in Nsukka on the campus of the University of Nigeria. I am from Aba in Njikoka local government area of Anambra State. My mother is from Umunachi in Dunukofia local government area of Anambra State. All are my homes. But more importantly, and I think more significantly, I consider all of Igbo land to be my home. From Enugu to Anambra, Imo, Abia, Ebonyi, and the Igbo-speaking communities in Rivers, in Kogi, in Benue, in Delta. All of them are home because all of them are Igbo land. Igbo. Whenever I land at an airport, whether in Asaba or in Enugu or in Owerri or the wonderfully named Chino Achebe International Airport in Umueri, the overwhelming feeling for me is one of wholeness, an internal calm, an instinctive, ancestral peace. Or so it was for many years, until recently. I am not the only Igbo person who no longer feels this instinctive wholeness, this peace. I am not the only one who reads stories from Igbo land and turns away in horror, who sees what is happening in Igbo land today and is consumed by shock, disillusionment, and a feeling dangerously close to despair. In Igbo culture, nothing is more sacred than life. In Igbo culture, a sibling must never take the life of another sibling. That is what we mean when we call a child Nduka, Ndubisi, Ndude. The preservation of life is sacrosanct. Things Fall Apart demonstrates the central Igbo belief in the sacredness of life. Okonkwo accidentally murders a member of his community. It is truly an accident. His gun goes off during a feast, and yet his community punishes him severely. His home is destroyed and burnt, and he's banished for years. And this was an accident. Now imagine the severity of the punishment for murder in Igbo culture. Igbo culture abhors the taking of innocent life. And yet, today, we hear grotesquely inhumane stories of people murdered in ritual practices for money. And it is important to note that the victims of this recent upsurge of barbarism are mostly women. It is not just infuriating, but it is mentally disorienting to even contemplate that in 21st century Igbo land, women are considered expendable ingredients in the blighted act of evil rituals. Igbo women who historically have been strong, have been valued. Igbo women like the Omu, whose boats led expeditions in pre-colonial times. Igbo women like the female king in Enugu Ezike. Igbo women who participated in the Aba Women's Riot in 1920, Women's Rebellion in 1929. Igbo women who through centuries have traded and shown initiative, and now we are reducing women to victims of money rituals. Ndi Igbo, what is happening to us? When did this particular reign begin to beat us? When we hear of Igbo people randomly murdering other Igbo people, the instinct is disbelief. Are these stories true? They cannot be true. But they are true. How can they be true? How can they be happening among one of the great early civilizations in West Africa? The home of the Leja iron smelting that dates back to 2000 BC. Iwoku bronze with its muted extravagance that dates back to the 9th century AD. The home of the fabled Nri kingdom of the 10th century. How can this be happening among a people traditionally known for greatness and for achievement and for hard work? How can this happen among Igbo people who have long been known for the interesting dualism at the center of their culture, one of individualism on one hand and the other of a communal ethic? Igbo people who are known for gathering together to help one another. In the words of a missionary who visited Igbo land in the late 19th century, the Igbo people show an unbending sense of justice and a surprising intelligence. Now let us ignore that surprising. Makana ndị ọcha nọkọta nnọọ fa na-ezuzu ezuzu. But the larger point is that Igbo people have long been known for greatness. And yet today, Igbo land is in disarray. Today, we are overseeing our own decline. There are, of course, the smaller desecrations that we have wrought on ourselves in the past 30, 40 years, one of which concerns the Igbo language. We do not have a thriving Igbo literature. We cannot seem to reach a consensus on a classical form of written Igbo. And many of us are proud to say that our children do not speak Igbo. Now, languages are really wonderful. I think the more languages one can speak, the better. I personally would like to learn Hausa. I've always loved the music of the language. But the truth is that children can learn as many languages as we expose them to. But what is happening in Igbo land is not about whether children can learn languages or not. It is the result of the lack of value for what is ours. We do not value what is ours. And this lack of value is also reflected even in the contemporary Igbo practice of giving strange names to our children. Names we like, not because of their beautiful or deep meanings, but because they can be easily shortened to sound Western. Cassie, Sarah, Jida. Nana Zailia Fani will smooth. If any of you have those names, I won't blame you. It's your parents I blame. But as an aside, I've noticed during my book signings, and I've done many book signings, but particularly the ones here in Nigeria, I've noticed that many of my Yoruba fans who come to have their book signed and they tell me their names, they always say very proudly their full names. Oluwatobilola. And I have to tell you, I find this deeply admirable, but also I feel a kind of whimsical sadness, because that almost never happens with my Igbo fans. Ndizara Nakasi. Somebody once said to me when I was talking about how important it was for us to conserve our language, not only is that an example of remarkable stupidity, but we must remember that human needs are not merely material. So this person was talking about, I don't want my child to learn Igbo. Igbo will confuse my child will not get a good job. But human needs are not merely material. We must feed our bodies, of course. We must think about what will give us a good job. But our souls must also be fed. And it is dignity that feeds our souls. So the country of Iceland has about 400,000 people, a very tiny country, but they put so much effort into preserving their language. I've never heard an Icelandic person, the few times I've visited, say something like, Eji Icelandic Ejebe. And Ireland, the Irish language, which was in decline under English rule, recently, the Irish government has put a lot of effort into reviving the Irish language. The Irish language is spoken only in Ireland. The Irish language is not really a language that is going to get the Irish people international jobs, but they're preserving it. They're preserving it, and that act of preservation is an act of love, it is an act of value, it's an act of dignity. And so to anyone who says, Ejibwejebe, not only are you lacking in intelligence, sorry, but this is true, you must also remember that we must feed our souls with dignity. And so while all of these issues, language, names, are significant, we must focus now on the large fire that is burning up Igbo land. Ndi Igbo kanyi teta n'ụla. Let us wake up. Ife emebigo na anyị Igbo. As Igbo people, we often speak of political marginalization. Whenever you're gathered among Igbo people, the next thing you hear is marginalization. They're marginalizing us. We should talk about marginalization, I think any honest assessment of Nigerian history since 1970 must acknowledge the political marginalization that Igbo people have suffered. But it is time to suspend the subject of marginalization until we have cleaned house. We are giving those who want to marginalize us even more reasons to justify that marginalization. We must first clean house. Part of that house cleaning must involve a concerted return to unity. We must unite. We must unite. Unity is not the absence of difference. Unity does not mean that we all agree on everything. Unity means a decision to come together for a greater goal despite our differences. Unity is a beautiful act of sheer will. Unity is an act of intelligence. Unity comes from the ability to think lucidly. If all of the governors of the Igbo-speaking states and all of the senators from the Igbo states decided to come together in unity and put away party affiliations, it would confer on Igbo land a great bargaining power for policies that will benefit all of Igbo land. Different ethnic groups in multi-ethnic countries across the world all engage in this kind of political bargaining. But for this to happen for Igbo land, there must be unity. But first I want to return to what I said earlier, Igbo, Igbo. The contemporary distinctions we often make today about Igbo identity, they're not cultural identities, they're political identities. There's a difference between a cultural identity and a political identity. When we say somebody is Delta Igbo, it is a political identity. It is not a cultural identity. Igbo-speaking peoples are one nation, one language, with different dialects. All languages have dialects. A dialect is not a language. So let us use Germany as an example. Germanic tribes have existed for centuries in Western Europe, but it was only relatively recently in the 19th century that these Germanic tribes decided to come together with the different dialects of the same language, German, and they united to form what we now know as the modern German state. Political identity, cultural values, Igbo must unite and strive to become a beacon for Nigeria and indeed for Africa. It is not too late. It is dire, but it is not too late. Let us stop making excuses for ourselves. Don't say that poverty is the reason that we are sliding into this barbarism. Poverty is not the reason. Igbo land was not rich in the 1900s. We were poor, and yet we did not worship money in this way. We did not slide into barbarism. We did not kill one another. We believed in basic things, in telling the truth, in standing for moral ideas, in not stealing, in earning your money in a way that is transparent. And by the way, the world today is full of cultures and peoples who are poor, and yet they maintain their values, and yet they do not descend into a doomed abyss of evil. For that is indeed the most appropriate word for the disregard for human life that is happening in Igbo land today. Evil. Igbo, let us wake up. Let us refuse to participate. Refuse to celebrate money whose source you do not know. Let us celebrate alternative things. Let us celebrate knowledge. Let us celebrate scholarship. Let us celebrate hard work. Let us celebrate community. We must remember that we are a great people. We have to remember that we are people who make remarkable sacrifices to live their dreams wherever they find themselves. We are people who have mastered the art of surviving the most unaccustomed parts of the earth. Let us not forget the wonderful, unique, apprenticeship system that we have, Mwa boy, often we forget the Mwa girl, where young women learn things like sewing from women and the wonderful and unique rituals and expectations that those involve. Ndibo, let us remember who we really are. We cannot become untethered from the harness of our proud and beautiful history and heritage. Igbo must once again mean what it truly means. Not selfishness, but community. Not violence, but a fierce desire to succeed through hard work, diligence, honesty, truth-telling. The very essence of our existence as a people is being eroded, and it is an aggressive, ugly erosion. We are overseeing our own decline. We are we are participating in our own destruction. How can this be? We must reclaim our heritage. Like Umuofia, before the coming of the missionaries, we must insist on the basic threshold of decency. Do we as a people endorse these practices? Do we accept Egombute as a legitimate route to success? Where is the gatekeeping role of the community over every member? Something that has been central in Igbo culture for centuries. Every success needs validation from the cultural milieu that birthed it. We hear success stories, but in most cases we see only the success but not the story. What is the story behind the successes that we celebrate today? Okonkwo's greatness in Umuofia was not possible without Umuofia's collective say-so. If Igbo people had collectively risen in unison to condemn this resident evil when it first began, it would have served as a moral rebuke against the ongoing slide into barbarism. But we did not do that. It is not too late. It is dire, but it is not too late. And it is important to say that the two dominant religions that we have in this region are heavily implicated in this rot. Both the traditional religion and Christianity have a hand in our collapsing values. We have as many cutthroat Ndidibia as we have Ndipastor, who orchestrate the steady slide into this abyss. It is time to clean house. We should not accept what is happening. If there are those who seek to destroy us, we should not help them. We should not arm ourselves with guns. We should arm ourselves with a return to values. Arm ourselves with knowledge. Arm ourselves with a strong sense of justice, morality, fair play. Those are the true Igbo values. It is not too late. We must wake up now. Ndibo, let us return Igbo land to the glory that it deserves. Dalun.
Ibai. Ekelemu. Ojo kwami eje gondo. Ndo ana atoka. Onya ana wanke nya no na wo. Ibai adino. Ogologo ndo. Aruike. No oduma ibeje ne ndo anya. Na onye ngori ibeje ne ndo anya. Nelufuta muria. Imana na nsogbu. Ya olise wa na ekemeri. Chukwu okike. Onye ogologo ndụ n'ogologo anya na-ahụ ndụ n'ọchịchị anyị na-ekene na-ayọ na-ekele maka tata na-ayọ maka echi maka na ọsọ maka eme echi anyị mara na ya dịka echi na echi anaghị agwụ agwụgwụ na ihe ya adịrị anyị mma ọ ya tụrụ onye ọ na-mma ya ịdịkwazị ọgbaghị nọ ya ahịa n'ọdụ na n'Igbo eke oye nkwọ awọ na ọdụ mma ndị be anya onwekwana ihe ọzọ na anya enye ndị ichie tipụtara
na be anyị amechi na ọ bụ ọkụ na anọ anyị adawo aga ọjị a na-awa ha abịa ji na ọjị na-eke ịkya na a na-agụ ya a na-ejide ọjị na-eka nri ana m erachi ihe kere ihe na ihe wara ihe Chineke nna kere enu ke anụ m akpọkụ ndị ezigbo mmadụ niile nọchawọrọ ndụ na amechi ọkụ na anọ na anụ ọkụ na anọ na anụ Nkanụ na anụ Nta Egbe na-ese na anụ Enugu steeti na-asị biko na ọ bụ ha metere ihe ọma ka anyị na-asị ha gbadata ha bịa tara ọjị anyị na-asị eke ka eke ketere anyị ihe ọma anyị na-asị ahwọ ka ahwọ ghọtara anyị ihe ọma anyị na-asị nkwọ ka nkwọ kwọtara anyị ihe ọma anyị na-asị orie ka orie rutere anyị ihe ọma ihe ndị a niile ka anyị na-arịọ nna sị ka ị bịa mere anyị wetere anyị udo n'ala Igbo wetere anyị udo n'ala Naịjirịa wetere anyị ịhụnanya wetere anyị ọganihu wetere anyị ihe niile bụ ihe na-eme obodo adị mma nna biko ihe ndị a ka anyị na-arịọ kwetewo na imeworo anyị karịa ka anyị rịọrọ n'ịhwa Chineke nna kere enu ka ana bụ Chukwu okike abịama
ndị be anyị ọjị abịa anyị na-ekene osebụlụ ụwa ekene Chukwu okike nna ketara anyị oge kere igwe ka anyị na-ata ọjị anyị chọrọ iwe ọjị ị na-awa n'otu awa n'ibe asị ka ị goziela anyị taa ka ihe ọma hụkwa gwute anyị na-akpọke ndị nna nna anyị ha bụ abụ ndị mere ọhụma goziela ya Eke gozie Orie gozie Nkwọ mee ka ndị ọbụla na-agagharị na-achọghị ha ga-eri mee ọhụma na ndị sokwa ụzọ ọtọ ndị kwụkwara ụzọ na-eje n'ụzọ kwụrụ ọtọ soro ka iwu Chukwu ji wee dị Chukwu na anyị si ka anyị wụọ gị a tata nde udo na ọgụ na-aga m n'ihu ka ọ dịrị anyị mma ndewo anyị na-ewepụta ile ọjị na-egosi ụmụnna anyị okenye na-awa ọjị ndị ọzọ na-awa ọjị na-ele enye ile ọjị nsọfụrụ maka na ebe a n'ọnụ ile ọjị a ka eji ama eziokwu iweta ọjị onye ọzọ na-asa ile ọ ga-eji na-ekwu eziokwu onye sara ile weta ile ọjị were na-ekpe ekpere were na-aga ọhụụ ọ ga-ekwuneta eziokwu ọjị a anyị na-enye nsọfụrụ ọjị lụọ ịnọ otu a ata ya o ruo ise atakwa ya mana o bido ruo na asaa ịma na ị ga-egbu anụ ị ga-egbu ọkụkọ.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
A non-governmental organization, Aneke Pascal Onyekake Foundation, has distributed free exercise books to pupils in Community Primary School 1 and 2 in Ozam, Amechi Dodo, Nkanu East Local Government Area of Enugu State, with an encouragement to the children to take their studies seriously. The serene atmosphere of the school was agog as the team arrived the arena with over 300 children benefiting from the free exercise books. Speaking during the event, the program officer of the foundation, Obinna Obu, said the idea of sharing the books was to empower the children educationally. According to him, the foundation has put in place all the necessary measures to support the development of education in the area. He said the foundation had visited and donated books to some other schools in Enugu South, Nkano East, and Nkano West local government areas.
We are here, which is part of our ongoing project, which cut across distribution of educational materials to pupils of rural schools located in rural communities. So we've covered other local governments. So this another local government, another school under Nkano East, which we've covered today. And I think our come here was successful, though the rain tried to destroy, but to God be the glory, the aim of coming here was achieved at the end of the day.
As they are shared.
Sure, it will be useful to them, and it's obvious on the way they collected it and their countenance and their expression of joy and the collection. We believe that by giving them these books, it will help them to do their homework, assignment, and classwork, and then take their learning serious. Thank you.
3 pupils, Sarah Obase, Chimeremeze Goodness, and Ernest Igwe, expressed joy that their school was remembered and thanked the foundation for the gesture, pledging to take their studies seriously.
I am happy, and we are happy as people give us the exercise book of Aneke. Thank you for giving us. We are happy.
I want to say you people thank you for coming and sharing the book for us.
I want to say to you people thank you for coming and sharing book for us.
Speaking, the 2 headmistresses of the Community Primary School 1 and 2, Ozam Amechi Dodo, Mrs. Regina Ngozi, and Magdalene Ume, thanked the foundation for their humanitarian efforts by providing free books to the children, saying that the books will motivate the pupils.
All I have to say is thank you, Lord. We really appreciate your coming. We are happy. It's a real good. We are happy for the foundation have shared up to let's say 500 size books to the children, and children also we are happy that they receive this gift from you people. We appreciate you and your foundation, and we pray that God will continue to guide you.
Even my purpose are excited. I appreciate you people for coming, at least to show us that this type of thing is in existence. Because if people are not here, we will not have known that you are in existence, that such a thing is even in existence. So we appreciate it.
Mr. Levinus Ibuaba, an indigene of Amechi Dodo, thanked the foundation for sharing free books to the children and also encouraged them to do more. He also encouraged the pupils to take their studies seriously, that with the books shared to them, it will be very helpful to their studies.
I'm very excited. When I heard that your people are coming, I was overwhelmed, because I know that coming here will cushion the effects of the cost of education in the life of the parents of the pupils. An adage in our locality that says no no, just meaning that whomever eats his yam, that one is the highest farmer. So Aneke has remembered us. Aneke is the greatest. I'm happy with them, and I pray that God will strengthen them the more.
The school environment was filled with happiness as the book distribution continues. For Aneke TV, it's been Chinwendo Ifeonwankwo reporting.
Hepatitis, a cankerworm eaten deep into our system. Health experts have expressed concern on the growing dangers of hepatitis in Nigeria, calling for proactive measures and public enlightenment. Hepatitis, they say, is a serious infection that causes inflammation of the liver, mostly spread by viruses. Of the 5 main types, A, B, C, D, and E, hepatitis B is identified as the most dangerous, with Nigeria facing a worrying 9.5% infection rate. According to legit intel, More than 18 million Nigerians are currently living with hepatitis B. Every year, over 4,000 people in the country lose their lives to liver cancer caused by untreated hepatitis B. As part of the campaign to commemorate World Hepatitis Day, organizations and groups use the period to offer free hepatitis B screening, health education, and one-on-one consultations. The aim is not just to test, but to inform and protect. Health workers, however, have raised concerns about vaccine access. While newborns in Nigeria receive the hepatitis B vaccine for free, adults are expected to pay for theirs, a cost many cannot afford. This continues to limit the fight against the disease. The public is strongly encouraged to take preventive steps, get vaccinated, practice safe sex, avoid sharing sharp objects like needles and razors, keep personal and environmental hygiene high. A medical practitioner, Dr. Ejiofor Mama, warned that ignoring hepatitis B could lead to severe consequences such as liver failure, cancer, and in many cases, death.
The body. I think it's good to tell you that it is located at the upper quadrant, just right upper quadrant, slightly, below the diaphragm, somewhere. So it runs this way and from here down, just like a wedge stretching from your right side down to the left flank of it, and it does a lot of functions. It helps in metabolizing any food you take. It detoxifies waste and also provides some essential enzymes that will help your body to work. And once it's not working proper, you find out that the waste we are generating might eventually not be excreted properly, and at the end of the day, it might lead to, presentation of yellowish eye, and also an advanced case, bloated abdomen, fever, nausea, and even to the extent of having swollen extremities when the liver is not working, because it helps in the metabolism of the food we are taking. If it is not working, the food we are taking might not be properly digested, and the amino taken well absorbed and not be properly utilized. And in the end, you find such a person even losing weight. So those are the symptoms that hepatitis is always presenting.
Experts also clarify that not all hepatitis cases are viral. According to them, some are caused by the immune system attacking the liver or by excessive alcohol use. They stressed that infection can spread through unprotected sex, sharing grooming tools, or consuming contaminated food and water. Despite a vaccination program launched back in 2004, many adults, especially in rural areas, remain unvaccinated. Experts and stakeholders have called for stronger government efforts and private sector involvement to make vaccines more accessible and affordable. Get screened, get protected, get vaccinated. I am Oduchukwu Ebuka Gerald, Aneke TV.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
A non-governmental organization, Aneke Pascal Onyeka Foundation, has distributed free exercise books to pupils in Community Primary School 1 and 2 in Ozam, Amechi Dodo, Nkanu East Local Government Area of Enugu State, with an encouragement to the children to take their studies seriously. The serene atmosphere of the school was agog as the team arrived at the arena with over 300 children benefiting from the free exercise books. Speaking during the event, the program officer of the foundation, Obinna Obu, said the idea of sharing the books was to empower the children educationally. According to him, the foundation has put in place all the necessary measures to support the development of education in the area. He said the foundation had visited and donated books to some other schools in Enugu South, Nkanu East, and Nkanu West local government areas.
We are here, which is part of our ongoing project, which cut across distribution of educational materials to pupils of rural schools located in rural communities. So we've covered other local governments. So this another local government, another school under Nkanu East, which we've covered today. And I think our come here was successful, though the rain tried to destroy, but to God be the glory, the aim of coming here was achieved at the end of the day.
As they are shared.
Sure, it will be useful to them, and it's obvious on the way they collected it and their countenance and their expression of joy and the collection. We believe that by giving them these books, it will help them to do their homework, assignment, and classwork, and then take their learning serious. Thank you.
3 pupils, Sarah Obase, Chimeremeze Goodness, and Ernest Igwe, expressed joy that their school was remembered and thanked the foundation for the gesture, pledging to take their studies seriously.
I am happy, and we are happy as you give us the exercise book of Aneke. Thank you for giving us. We are happy.
I want to say you people thank you for coming and sharing the book for us.
I want to say to you people thank you for coming and sharing book for us.
Speaking, the 2 headmistresses of the Community Primary School 1 and 2, Ozam Amechi Dodo, Mrs. Regina Ngozi, and Magdalene Ume, thanked the foundation for their humanitarian efforts by providing free books to the children, saying that the books will motivate the pupils.
All I have to say is thank you, Lord. Una try. We really appreciate your coming. We are happy. It's a real good. We are happy for the foundation have shared up to let's say 500 size books to the children, and children also we are happy that they receive this gift from you people. We appreciate you and your foundation, and we pray that God will continue to guide you.
Even my proposal is started. I appreciate you people for coming, at least to show us that this type of thing is in existence. Because if people are not here, we will not have known that you are in existence, that this such a thing is even in existence. So we appreciate it.
Mr. Levinus Ibuaba, an indigene of Amechi Dodo, thanked the foundation for sharing free books to the children and also encouraged them to do more. He also encouraged the pupils to take their studies seriously, that with the books shared to them, it will be very helpful to their studies.
I'm very excited. When I heard that your people are coming, I was overwhelmed because I know that coming here will cushion the effects of the cost of education in the life of the parents of the pupils. An adage in our locality that says no okachako. No, just meaning that whomever eats his yam, that one is the highest farmer. So Aneke has remembered us. Aneke is the greatest. I'm happy with them, and I pray that God will strengthen them the more.
The school environment was filled with happiness as the book distribution continues. For Aneke TV, it's been Chiwendo Ifeonwankwo reporting.
Hepatitis, a cankerworm eaten deep into our system. Health experts have expressed concern on the growing dangers of hepatitis in Nigeria, calling for proactive measures and public enlightenment. Hepatitis, they say, is a serious infection that causes inflammation of the liver, mostly spread by viruses. Of the 5 main types, A, B, C, D, and E, hepatitis B is identified as the most dangerous, with Nigeria facing a worrying 9.5% infection rate. According to legit intel, more than 18 million Nigerians are currently living with hepatitis B. Every year, over 4,000 people in the country lose their lives to liver cancer caused by untreated hepatitis B. As part of the campaign to commemorate World Hepatitis Day, organizations and groups use the period to offer free hepatitis B screening, health education, and one-on-one consultations. The aim is not just to test, but to inform and protect. Health workers, however, have raised concerns about vaccine access. While newborns in Nigeria receive the hepatitis B vaccine for free, adults are expected to pay for theirs, a cost many cannot afford. This continues to limit the fight against the disease. The public is strongly encouraged to take preventive steps, get vaccinated, practice safe sex, avoid sharing sharp objects like needles and razors, keep personal and environmental hygiene high. A medical practitioner, Dr. Ejiofor Mama, warned that ignoring hepatitis B could lead to severe consequences such as liver failure, cancer, and in many cases, death.
The body. I think it's good to tell you that it is located at the upper quadrant, just right upper quadrant, slightly, below the diaphragm, somewhere. So it runs this way, and it's from here down, just like a wedge that's stretching from your right side down to the left flank of it, and it does a lot of functions. It helps in metabolizing any food you take. It detoxifies waste, and also provides some essential enzymes that will help your body to work. And once it's not working proper, I find out that the waste we are generating might eventually not be excreted properly, and at the end of the day, it might lead to, presentation of yellowish eye, and also an advanced case, bloated abdomen, fever, nausea, and even to the extent of having swollen extremities when the liver is not working, because it helps in the metabolism of the food we are taking. If it is not working, the food we are taking might not be properly digested, and the amino taken well absorbed and not be properly utilized. And in the end, you find such a person even losing weight. So those are the symptoms that hepatitis is always presenting.
Experts also clarify that not all hepatitis cases are viral. According to them, some are caused by the immune system attacking the liver or by excessive alcohol use. They stressed that infection can spread through unprotected sex, sharing grooming tools, or consuming contaminated food and water. Despite a vaccination program launched back in 2004, many adults, especially in rural areas, remain unvaccinated. Experts and stakeholders have called for stronger government efforts and private sector involvement to make vaccines more accessible and affordable. Get screened, get protected, get vaccinated. I am Oduchukwu Bukajara, Aneke TV.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
Good afternoon and welcome to the news across the country on Aneke TV. First, the headlines. President Tinubu departs Abuja on a two-nation visit. FG bans creation of new tertiary institutions. Diaspora group says Nigeria-India defense deal will fast-track military reforms. Now the news in details. I'm Deborah Wakoba. President Bola Tinubu will today depart Abuja for official visits to Japan and Brazil, with a brief stopover in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Presidential spokesperson Mr. Bayo Onanuga announced this in a statement issued in Abuja. In Japan, the president will participate in the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development scheduled to hold in Yokohama from August 20th to 22. The conference would focus on economic transformation, private investment, and institutional development across the continent. It also aimed to promote a resilient and sustainable African society grounded in peace, stability, and human security. During the summit, Onunaga said President Tinubu would attend plenary sessions and hold bilateral meetings with world leaders as well as Japanese business executives. Over to education. The federal government has imposed a 7-year moratorium on the establishment of new federal universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education, citing the proliferation of underutilized institutions, overstretched resources, and a drop in academic quality. The decision was approved at Federal Executive Council meeting presided over President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, following a presentation by the Ministers of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa. FEC, however, approved 9 new universities despite the freeze. Briefing State House correspondents after the meeting, the minister said the challenge in Nigeria's tertiary education system was no longer access, but inefficient duplication, poor infrastructure, inadequate staffing, and dwindling enrollment in many existing institutions. Also, the Federal Executive Council, FEC, has approved major funding to upgrade power infrastructure across the country. This is in a bid to boost electricity supply and support national industrial growth. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, announced this after FEC meeting chaired by President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He said 4 key proposals were approved, marking a new phase in the country's ongoing power sector transformation agenda. Adelabu said that the first approved proposal involves the resumption of compensation payments for right-of-way access for key industrial and transmission projects. Away from that, August meeting is an annual event for Igbo women in Southeast Nigeria. The event, usually held in August, is used for homecoming for married Igbo women, both those residing in Nigeria and those in the diaspora, to their matrimonial villages. The meeting focuses on community development, conflict management, and other socio-economic and cultural initiatives. In this report, correspondent Chidima Ikemede examines the importance of the meeting.
The August meeting is the annual gathering of married women, both at home and in the diaspora, to celebrate, deliberate, and address issues affecting their communities. It's also a time to resolve family matters and set goals for social development. This tradition, deeply rooted in the culture of the southeastern part of Nigeria, brings women together in a powerful way. It gives them the platform to speak freely, share ideas, and plan for community building, as well as socio-political progress. Each year, the meeting attracts women from across the globe, as August is a convenient time for many to travel. In its pure form, it strengthens bonds, fuels development projects, and unites women around a shared vision for their people. However, in recent times, the narrative has begun to shift. For some, the focus has moved from service to show, displaying expensive wrappers from Ashwebi to highly quality judges. These, in turn, can make less affluent women, especially those living in rural areas, feel a subtle sense of exclusion or inferiority. Still, a quick look at community sentiments shows that many women treasure this gathering. it remains a cherished opportunity to reconnect with loved ones, exchange valuable contact, and revive the spirit of togetherness. A cross-section of Enugu residents who spoke with Aneke TV reacted this way.
My name is Mrs. Celine Ogun. When we talk about August meeting, the role and advantages of August meeting is overemphasized. The August meeting has generated a lot of developments in the community. It has affected the women both socially, spiritually, and otherwise. When you talk about the physical structures being done by the women in August meeting, most of the structures in the village, building the church, the parish hall, the father's house, and erecting borehole, a lot of development, infrastructural development, that projects that women carry during August meeting. Not only that, during August meeting, professionals are invited and women are taught a lot of things that they don't know before. Some women, what they have learned in August meeting that help them enter into a lot of business, like skill acquisition and all the rest of them. When you talk about August meeting, the rule, what we gain from August meeting is overwhelming.
My name is Mrs. Ibe Gloria Ijoma. You know, the theme of this 2025 August meeting by women, we tagged it as women as a nation builders. You know, we women, we're supposed to be part of the nation builders. We're supposed to contribute a lot in our families. That's the essence of August meeting. We gather, we discuss, and we contribute building of this our nation, Nigeria. You see, we even discuss on how to tackle some of the issues most women are encountering with their husbands or with their household. So that's the excess. When we gather, we now deliberate and talk on how to move the nation forward. The family as the family and the nation as a whole, how to move them forward. That's the excess.
My name is Chief Mrs. Eku Happiness Chinemerem. I love your question. Your question is not on jewelries, putting clothes, less, no. We have aim and objectives of having August meeting. It is where we discuss how we are going to look into our villages, our churches, our schools, primary and secondary schools in our hometown. The way we do it, it is this time that we go into our streams to sweep wearing gorgeous dresses. We go by simple, what do I call it? Or just a simple cloth.
As the August meeting continues to evolve, it remains a living reminder of the Igbo belief in the vital role women play in community building and socio-political development. Chidimmi Kemede, Aneke TV.
Appeal has constituted an election petition tribunal for the National and State House of Assembly by-elections in Anambra. Mr. Ibrahim Usman, the Secretary of the Election Tribunal in Anambra, announced this in a statement in Awka. Usman said the tribunal would hear and determine petitions which may arise from the conduct of senatorial and House of Assembly by-elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) is conducting by-elections for Anambra South Senatorial District and Onitsha 1 State Constituency on August 16. In the meantime, the House of Representatives has commenced investigation into the 1.06 trillion naira Nigerian Community Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus (NG Cares) social intervention program of the federal government. The chairman, House Committee on NG Cares, Representative Abubakar Kusada, made this known while briefing newsmen in Abuja. He said that the investigation had become imminent since the masses were allegedly not feeling the impact of the social nets despite the federal government fulfilling its funding obligation. The lawmakers said that the government had also provided the guidelines and the operational arrangements for the effective implementation of the program. A total of $696 million, which is an equivalent of 1.6 trillion naira, has been released as social intervention, safety nets and palliatives to Nigerians in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory through the various delivery platforms. Also, the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development has inaugurated a milk collection center with a 2,000-litre daily capacity at the Sawi Grazing Reserve in Adamami community of Shira local government area of Abuja State. Speaking during the inauguration, the ministry's Director of Livestock Development, Mr. Tagwi James, explained that the facility was sited at the Sawi Grazing Reserve because of the significant milk deposits that could be harnessed daily. Mr. James stated that the rehabilitation of the milk collection center is part of the federal government's renewed drive to meet the country's demand for dairy products, to boost local milk production and reduce Nigerians' dependency on dairy imports. He called on state governments to support federal government efforts by implementing livestock-related policies and programs to achieve these objectives. Now over to crime. The High Court of Ebonyi State, sitting in the Afikpo Judicial Division holding at Afikpo, presided over by Justice Nicholas Wode, has sentenced 4 persons to 7 years imprisonment following a 3-count charge of conspiracy, vandalism and stealing. The convicts, Ikechukwu Ese, Ikedinachi Uche, Ukpai Godwin and Uche Nakalo, were arrested for attacking a 7.5 MVA injection substation belonging to the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company EEDC, located at Education Board Road, Afikpo, in Afikpo North Local Government area of Ebonyi State. This development was made known in a press statement by the group head Corporate Communications, Mr. Emeka Eze. Meanwhile, the Anambra State Police Command has raided a black spot in Ogidi, Idemili North Local Government area of the state, arresting 6 suspects, including a female. The spokesman for the State Police Command, Mr. Tochukwu Ikenga, who announced this in a press statement, said that the operatives attached to the Special Anti-Cultism Squad in Enugu Ukwu carried out the operation. Mr. Ikenga said the team recovered 1 fabricated Beretta pistol without a magazine and quantities of illicit drugs, including Murumiri, crystal meth, during the raid. Now over to security. The Nigerians in Diaspora Monitoring Group, NDMG, says the renewed defense cooperation between Nigeria and India offers a realistic roadmap to closing critical gaps in the country's security architecture. The group noted that the agreement, which covers counterterrorism, training, maritime patrol cooperation, joint research and development, and investment in local defense manufacturing, is a practical tool for tackling the nation's security challenges. According to a statement by the group's president, Prince Maduka Ezago, described the 4-day visit of the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Mohammed Matawale, to India as a turning point for Nigeria's military capacity building efforts. In Delta, the senior special assistant on media to the Delta State Governor, Mr. Osai Success, has offered a paid job and an all expenses paid trip to Comfort Emanson, the Ibom Air passenger recently released from Kirikiri prison. In an Instagram post, Mr. Osai announced that a monthly salary of 500,000 naira had been secured for Emanson in Delta State. The package also includes flight tickets, accommodation in a 5-star hotel, a guided tour, and a ticket to Delta Social Media Summit scheduled for 28th of this month in Asaba. Mr. Osai added that the trip was to help her relax after her release, saying, over to business. Nigeria's telecom regulator has called for stronger action in safeguarding telecommunications infrastructure. warning that service disruptions could undermine the economy and national security. The Nigerian Communications Commission made this call in a statement after brokering a deal to avert a strike by the Natural Oil and Gas Suppliers Association of Nigeria. The industrial action planned over fuel supply issues last week would have cut off diesel deliveries to thousands of telecom sites, many of which rely on generators to stay online amid Nigeria's unreliable power grid. The intervention, led by the Office of the National Security Advisor in partnership with the NCC, highlighted just how fragile the country's connectivity is. NCC Chief Executive Officer Mr. Aminu Maida said the agency will continue to enforce technical standards and work closely with security agencies, operators, and public to safeguard these assets. He also urged Nigerians to see the infrastructure as a shared national asset that powers everything from business transactions to healthcare and education. In the meantime, the equity markets witnessed a downturn yesterday as performance indices declined by 0.13%. This followed 2 consecutive days of bullish trading earlier in the week. The negative trend was driven by sell-offs in Thomas White Nigeria, UPDC Real Estate Investment Trust, Legend Internet PLC, Beggar Paints, and 13 other stocks. The market capitalization shed 121 billion naira, or 0.313 0.13% to close at 92.284 trillion naira, compared with 92.405 trillion naira at the previous session's opening. The all share index also fell by 0.13%, or 191.09 points, closing at 145,864.80 against 146.055.89 recorded on Tuesday. However, the market's breadth remained positive, with 53 gainers and 19 losers. Now over to sports. Super Falcons captain Rasheedat Ajibade has revealed that the team is yet to receive the promised $100,000 reward, along with other commitments made by the federal government following their victory at the 2025 Women's Africa Cup of Nations (WAFCON) in Morocco. In an interview, Ajibade expressed disappointment over the delay in payment. Ajibade led the Super Falcons to victory in Morocco. The president also rewarded each player with $100,000 and a 3-bedroom flat. Meanwhile, the Kaduna State government has begun the long-awaited full-scale reconstruction of the Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna, promising to transform the dilapidated 61-year-old facility into a world-class sports complex capable of hosting both continental and international tournaments. The move followed the formal transfer of ownership of the stadium from the federal government to the state